Hey everyone, Jonathan from Lorcana HQ here. We're going to dig into a tasty morsel of gameplay information that comes to us by way of Nives. Nives has been chosen to spoil this information directly from the official Lorcana camp. And so check out Nives' channel. Make sure you subscribe and watch the video where they told us that you will be limited to 2 types of ink in your Lorcana decks. And so there are 6 total types of ink. And what this basically means is you can't have a deck with 3 different types of ink or, all 6 types of ink. If you play Magic the Gathering, you'll know that there's 5 colors of mana. And in Magic, you can have all 5 colors in your deck. And so some people may feel, oh, there is this builds a limitation to the Lorcana deck building. But that's a good thing for a number of reasons. First of all, in testing the game, you don't have to test all the combinations, right? Because things can only exist within 2 color combinations. And from a design perspective, it gives you a group of things that you can interact with to help address issues. So let's say there's an issue in the amethyst color, in the amethyst ink. Then you can make a card that addresses amethyst cards, and then it wouldn't affect the other stuff. So having these little silos allows game designers to balance the game in a better way. Now, what it does do is it makes a shallow card pool because you can combine 2 inks, but you can't combine more than 2. So a lot of times the decks will look similar, right? Because there's only so many cards in each ink that you can put in the deck. This happens in other card games like Flesh and Blood and Hearthstone. They use class systems for their color pie, quote unquote. And so in the class system, you might have only so many ninja cards, or you might only have so many mage cards. And so a lot of the mage decks will look the same until the card pool broadens out. This brings us to another interesting point. It sounds like if they're going to do this with the limitation of inks within a deck, we may see generic cards. So with the sets being brand new and 1 set only coming out, the card pool may not be deep enough to support 2 colors. So you may have to have generic cards to kind of fill in the gaps. And a lot of games do this. Like I said, the Flesh and Blood, Hearthstone, and other games that use class systems or limit you on how you can build your deck. The other cool thing is that if you're limited to two inks, it gives you a little bit of a time to breathe when new sets come out. Because when a new set comes out, if you have a deck that has 2 inks and that's your deck, then you only have to pay attention to really the cards in those 2 inks and maybe those generic cards if they produce the generic cards. So I think it gives. At first, when the information came out, I said, okay, 2 inks. But then as I start to think about it, there's a lot of implication that comes with it. Some of the stuff that we just talked about and some other stuff. So I just wanted to go over that stuff, and I'd love to get your opinion. What do you think that this means for the game, that you can only have 2 inks in your deck? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I personally think it's a good thing. I think it gives more control for the game designers over the game. I think it gives consumers a little more focus. If you think about this, with kids building decks and stuff like that, sometimes it's just information overload. What are you going to put in the deck? What are you going to, in this way you can focus on 1 or 2. And another thing to close on, this is just a wonder. Let's wonder about it. Is it 2 inks to start, or is it just typically 1 ink, but some things will allow you to put 2 inks? Are you limited to 2 and you could just smash them together to start, or do you need something special to add a second ink to your deck? That's an interesting question. What do you think? I'm going to leave you with that. All right. Till next time. See you later.